going to be grateful for this stadium. This stadium brought the National Football League to Nashville. That stadium is going to bring Nashville to the world. Today's topping out marks the moment when the highest piece of structural steel is set in place. It's a tradition that goes back centuries, and it symbolizes teamwork, craftsmanship, and the pride of every person who has had a hand in building this landmark. We're grateful to have so many leaders and partners here with us this morning, including government officials who we really want to recognize for your partnership. Would you please stand so you can be recognized? We're also grateful to be joined by Nissan with us today. Thanks to each and every one of you. Of course, this stadium would not be possible without the extraordinary collaboration among our design and construction partners. We want to recognize the teams who have poured their talent, sweat, and skill into every inch of this structure. Manica, our design architect. TVS, our architect of record, and their incredible team of design partners. Walter P. Moore and Logan Patry, our structural engineers. Our construction management team, the Tennessee Builders Alliance, Turner Construction, AE Comhunt, ICF, Polk & Associates, and hundreds of talented contractors they've assembled. Thank you. Thank you to our structure team led by Baker Concrete and W&W Steel. And finally, thank you to CAA Icon, the Cumming Group, and of course, to Kellen DeCourcy, our Titans project executive. Without his approval, we had to slip that one in there. And we're especially grateful for nearly 6,000 workers who have been on this site to date, building safely, building proudly, and building something that will serve this community for decades. Today, we're not here just to celebrate steel and concrete, but the people behind it. The teamwork, the craftsmanship, and the shared belief that this building will be a home for memories, moments, and milestones for the entire state. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of this history. And now, let's officially celebrate the topping out of the new Nissan Stadium. It's my great privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Titans controlling owner, Amy Adams-Strunk.
Well, welcome everybody. I want to start by saying what an incredible moment this is. Standing here today in the shadow of this beautiful building, coming to life behind me, it is truly just takes your breath away. This new stadium means so much to our team and to this beautiful city we call home. It's more than just a building. It's a promise to our fans, it's a gathering place for our community, and it's a big part of the future of Nashville. I want to take a moment to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to every single person who's worked day in and day out on this project. Through the heat, the rain, like today, and everything in between, your effort, talent, and passion are what made this possible. This beam going up today represents your pride, strength, and hard work. To our fans, y'all are the heartbeat of this team. Your love and support keep us going every step of the way. And our To our partners in the city and the state, thank you for believing in this vision with us. We've still got work to do, but today is a big, beautiful step forward. I can't wait for the day we open those doors and welcome y'all in. Thank you again for being here today, and tighten up.
My name is Erickson Howell, General Foreman. Jed Davis, Field Superintendent with WW Steel Erectors.
Joe Jolly, Superintendent with Wasco.
My name is Renee Avila. I'm a Union 9 worker. I'm a General Foreman here at the Tennessee Titan Stadium.
The topping out ceremony is very special. It signifies the last highest piece of structural steel being erected. Can't describe the feeling.
It means a lot to get to work on the stadium and being a fan too as well. At the end of it, you see the reward.
We are a brotherhood of Union 9 workers. We watch our back. We are our brothers, keepers, sisters. We take pride in our work. We love it. It's a bond.
You get to leave one day, you're tired, you're exhausted. But when you come in the next morning, you're fresh, you have new eyes, and you get to look and see what all you accomplished yesterday. Working on a project like this means a lot. Everybody still gets to enjoy life together as one family. My kids can come back and say, hey, my dad did that. It's a part of history.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tyler Baumgart. I'm with Tennessee Builders Alliance, and we want to take a quick moment here to thank the Titans organization for bringing this team together to get to this moment. It's been many years that most of us have been involved in the project, and so to get here is a major milestone in any project. But I think when you bring these buildings together and see what they do for a community and the workers, and you saw it there, you're changing the skyline of a city forever. And what it's doing, the memories it creates, and what the workers will take home from this is important to us and our organization. And we believe that through this process and the many milestones in front of us, this will be a phenomenal building, and it will bring memories to the workforce and everybody that has put all their effort into this building. So we just want to say thank you, and hope everybody enjoys today out there. It's a great day. Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Miss Amy, and thank you, Tyler, as well. All right, I'm pleased to be joined for a special chat with our esteemed panelists. First, we have Tennessee Builders Alliance Principal in Charge, John Gromos. The Commissioner of the National Football League, Roger Goodell. Titans President and CEO, Burke Nihill. And the Governor of the great state of Tennessee, Bill Lee. Governor, I'd like to start with you. This project has taken remarkable teamwork across state, city, and private partners. From your vantage point, what's a moment in this process that really captured that spirit of collaboration?
Yeah, it is. I'm glad you mentioned collaboration because that's what it took for this to happen. Starting with the Titans, but when I think about, there wasn't a single moment, there were a lot of moments that accumulated and added up to the point that it became a reality. Speaker Sexton's here, the General Assembly was an important player in this. The mayor's office was an important player. The state coming together, funding, the construction team making this happen, of course the Titans organization, and there were a number of meetings all along the way, and I remember key meetings where people came together and got excited together and worked through some really hard decisions and some really high hurdles to get over to make it happen. So collaboration, it's exciting. It's exciting when it all comes together and when something like this happens, and it is a game changer for our city. It's a game changer for Tennessee. It's going to change people's lives, and a very hopeful moment for us right now.
I love seeing the pride on the man's face seated to your right now. To Burke and to John, today we're celebrating the topping out, a huge construction milestone that has required tremendous collaboration between the Titans, the design, and the construction teams. What does this moment represent to you, John, personally?
What a wonderful pause in construction for us to celebrate the workers, right? It's great for all of us to be here in this room and to take pride in some or a feeling of purpose and accomplishment and contribution. Everybody here had some level of contribution. But I think it's really appropriate to pause and talk about the workers, right? You mentioned 6,000 unique workers since day one. On average, we have 1,700 workers every single day working very, very hard with very safe. Safety is the primary focus, quality is the primary focus, and they take such great pride in the workmanship. You know, we have the groundbreaking ceremonies are always a lot of fun, ribbon cuttings are always a lot of fun, but as we pause and celebrate placing this last beam right now to top out the structure, we should really continue to celebrate the workers.
Well said. How about you, Burke?
Absolutely.
John, you say pause, but there's some activity I was observing behind us. Not everybody's out of the rain. Look, I think there's so many people, and when I say so many people, I mean literally thousands of people. You just grabbed 6,000 workers on the site today. There'll be 10,000 in all. There are people that have never actually stepped foot on this site who've made this a really important part of their life's work, bringing this to life, the compromise. This has been years and years and years in the making. And so it's just humbling to take these steps back and recognize what it's taken to get to this point. And on behalf of the Titans, just say thank you to everyone around this community, everyone around this state, everyone who doesn't take days off. We've got a rain plan here today. There's no rain plan for a lot of the folks across the way. And that video I've seen 2 or 3 times, and I get emotional, especially when the gentleman says that he's going to take pride in this and that his kids are going to, know that that's a building that his dad worked on. On a personal level, my grandfather was an electrician, and we used to go around in the city where I grew up, and he would point to buildings, and he would say, "See that building? That's your grandpa's building." And I just felt so proud of my grandfather, felt so proud to be a part of that family, and to think that there would be 10,000 examples of Jack Nihills around Nashville and around Tennessee who can point to that building and say, "See that building? That's your dad's building, that's your mom's building, that's your grandpa's building." It's a remarkable thing to be a part of.
We don't have time to call out all 10,000 of those people, but you've gotten to know a lot of those people personally, which makes it even more special. And I also like the permanent rain plan we have for the new building that is next door. And Commissioner, we did have here in my itinerary in our run of show that it would stop raining right now, so we could go over there in a few minutes. You've been part of several major NFL stadium openings. What stands out to you about the one that's being built here in Nashville?
I think it's a celebration of this community. Ultimately, the ability to come together to have the vision that they have about what the city can and should be and will be ultimately. And this is a great achievement, but I think it's going to lead to so many greater achievements, right? This is just another level in the growth of this city and the impact it's going to have, I think, more than just nationally, but on a global basis. And I think that's a tribute to the leadership. And I think the NFL is just proud to be a part of that in a small way and support the people of this community because you deserve it. And we believe in you. And I think you're starting to believe in yourself an awful lot, and you should.
Governor, back to you. You've emphasized job growth and investing in Tennesseans quite a bit throughout your terms. How do you see this project creating lasting impact?
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures there, and this is going to be one more example of how Tennessee is a world-class state. This is a world-class city. Commissioner and I were talking about how when the draft came, for example, people all over the world kind of said, if they didn't know, they said, boy, there's something happening down there. And we see that happening. And what happens when we're recognized as a world-class city and a world-class state, companies come here, tourists come here, businesses come here, economic development happens. And so while this is steel and construction and exciting and events and Super Bowls in the future, and had to throw that in. While all of those things are true, what it is, it's an increased opportunity for Tennesseans. People who don't live in Nashville, people who live out in other communities will benefit from economic activity that happens as a result of a very exciting piece of our state. So, and I have to add my grandfather was a welder on one of the bridges that crosses the Cumberland, and from the time I was a little kid, and to this day, every time I cross that bridge, it was my great-grandfather actually, but every time I cross that bridge, I think, my great-grandpa built this bridge. And I was in the construction business for 35 years, and usually I'm on the other side of these projects, building them, knowing how important it is, every single one of these folks that are building this project and that represent the other people out there doing it. There is a lot of pride, and there are now thousands of families who will have pride and ownership in what has been constructed out here for decades and frankly for centuries to come. In the case of this, because of what's happening. So again, this is a big boom for our state. We're real happy about it.
I love where your head is for the future. We'll get back to that in a moment. Burke, the Titans have called Tennessee home for more than 25 years. What does this new stadium allow the Titans, we the Titans, to do for our fans, to do for the community, to do for the players?
Yeah, I think those are the right three categories. There's a lot of people in this room that I think we've worn out with attention to detail, thinking about every step of the journey for our players, for our fans, and for the community. We tried really hard for a long time to renovate this building, and you recognize that when you do that, you're within the constraint of an existing structure. When we had the opportunity to build new, we felt this stewardship and this pressure to get that right from the position of all three of those categories. And so for the players, that means things like underground parking and being 25 steps away from the locker room and just thinking through every single thing about their game day experience and making sure that it is, they just have the ability to focus on the game, and we take care of everything, and we take care of their families. We're now working through some home field advantage sorts of nuance throughout the building and throughout our game day presentation. So we are definitely thinking about them. From a fan perspective, we've talked about interrogating the fan journey from every step from their garage to getting into their seat. Look, I was was 35 years old and a software attorney and just a fan, right? So I have that perspective, and you know what? I hated waiting in line for bathrooms at halftime. I hated waiting in line for concessions. When concourses got crowded, that was something that was annoying to me, and we have an opportunity to start over, and we've tried to take care of all of those things to the extent possible with frictionless concessions and twice the number of bathroom stalls and all of those things. And then from the community perspective, you're looking at right now a 12,000 square foot community room that we plan to just have things coming through here as often as possible. So yes, we'd love a Super Bowl on a Sunday, but the plan would be on a Thursday. There may be a job fair, or there may be a local field trip that goes through that same building. This should be the people's house that celebrates the biggest things that I would think were hard to dream would come to Nashville, Tennessee, 25 years ago. But also, this is a building that shouldn't just be a dormant, sleepy tenant, but for the big events. It should be something that's used for the community as a whole, and we've got plans to do that.
Commissioner, I think all of us are so impressed on how the NFL continues to evolve, especially from a technology standpoint as it relates to fan engagement. How does a project like this one support where the league is heading in that regard?
Well, it starts with the fans and ends with the fans. You want to make the experience for our fans the best possible experience, whether they're in the stadium or whether they're watching at home. And they're related. You don't want to watch a game where nobody's in the stands. We went through that in COVID, and it's a different experience. You want the energy and the excitement. But to get the fans in, as Brooke said, you've got to give them the same amenities that they have at home. So it goes from concessions, but technology is a big part of that. Can I stay in touch with the people I want to stay in touch with? Can I watch my fantasy team? Whatever it is, you have to deliver on that expectation, and not just deliver on today's expectation, but more importantly, the future expectation. And so stadiums are important in that experience. They're important to everything we do, and it's why we spend so much time on it. And I would say, maybe other than the 90s, right now, this generation, what we're going through is maybe the greatest amount of stadium construction going across the league. And this city is leading the way and creating a new front door to their city. So I'm proud of what the city is doing, and they're making my job just a little bit easier on that front.
John, we hear the sounds right now. We got over 2,000 workers that are on site today, 12,400 pieces of steel on that structure. From your perspective, what's been the most remarkable part of building a project of this scale?
I think the short answer is just how quickly we've gotten to the top of the structure. It is amazing. It is such a large building, and so much planning goes into these facilities. We put a schedule together when we interviewed in the summer of 2003, and one of the remarkable things to me is the collaboration from the design team to the engineers to all of the members of the TBA team working together. Collaboration has come up a couple times now in conversation. It absolutely takes that level of teamwork. But even though we know what the schedule is and we're supposed to be at this point, it's just amazing in 19 months how quickly we've gotten here. You know, technology allows us to build a building in the computer before we build it in the field. And that takes a lot of collaboration. And for as much as we get that right with all the team members, there's always problems that pop up. And the other thing that I'm very proud of that always amazes me is that as problems surface, we've got a lot of really smart people who solve them. They solve them on the spot, and they do it very efficiently to help us maintain the pace that we're on right now. So while we know what's supposed to happen, it's still impressive to get to this point. Again, back to the workers.
We have a guy that is leading our charge with the Titans named Dan Worley, who does a phenomenal job for us. And Dan has told me a lot about the differences between this building and some of the other new state-of-the-art buildings that Commissioner Goodell was talking about in the National Football League. Can you tell us, John, a little bit about that in terms of design, innovation, and collaboration, what separates this building?
Yeah, I think every building is unique in its own regard. I've heard Burke speak dozens of times, I think, over the last couple of years about how the fan experience is going to be so much different. The terraces, the experience for the indoor and outdoor, not only for major events, but for the community and smaller events. I think Burke has said there's not a bad seat in the house, right? We're getting the people closer to it. The premium spaces are very unique. The quality that's going into this building and the different fan experiences from the upper deck to the lower bowl to the suites is just fantastic. I think this sets a different standard, a new standard for fan experience, premium spaces, quality, those kinds of things. We're fortunate to be involved with a lot of other major sports facilities and construction, but the design of this and how it's coming together and the thought and the purpose that has gone into these decisions and the attention to detail have really been impressive.
Yes, so thoughtful to our community. It really feels like a local building, and you've described it, Burke, as a building for all Tennesseans. How will the fan and visitor experience reflect that, whether it's art or accessibility or storytelling?
Yeah, I would even just step back a second. It's built by Tennesseans for Tennesseans was part of the point, and we're approaching 4 million man-hours, and we're very proud that 75% or so of those man-hours were worked by Tennesseans, and some of those people. Is there anybody in the room today from our TC2 program? Yeah, we got some over here. Congratulations. Yeah. We wanted this building to be an opportunity for our neighbors to work on the project, including some of our neighbors who didn't actually have a history in construction. And so, coordinating with TBA, we created a program where people can come and for 8 weeks learn the basics of the trades, and then we put them in contact with subcontractors, and regularly after that 8 weeks, people get jobs on this site, and those people have names like Jason, who was really, really down on his luck and has now found a degree of hope that has inspired his family, and he's planning now to build more buildings and create his own construction company. So it starts there. It starts with who's actually building this building. But to John's point, we have, in terms of the design, thought about what makes Nashville and Tennessee different than other markets. I have always believed is the soul and the character. The inspiration building for us was the Ryman Auditorium, which is an old church. But that old church has had a number of different lives and has always meant something really important to this community because of its soul, because of its character. And so we have tried to, with every detail of this building, from the broad strokes to the little details, have it represent Tennessee and do it really authentically. So that's meant a lot of listening to what that means and bringing it to life. You mentioned art. We have an art program where we solicited artists opportunities to get their art in the building, to represent the Titans through their art, to represent Nashville and Tennessee through their art. We got submissions from all around the world, and we've narrowed it down to a bunch of Tennesseans who are going to have an opportunity to have art in the building that reflect the Titans in Nashville and Tennessee, through the food choices, through every little design aesthetic is meant to let anybody from any part of the state come in and see themselves somewhere in the building. The more that the Titans can lead this community by representing this community, that makes us better, and certainly there's no better representation than the physical manifestation of our organization in the stadium.
The great Eric Church says the thing that separates Nashville is its soul, and I love that this building will reflect that. Governor, as you have crossed your great-grandfather's bridge so many times and gone into this stadium, what's your favorite memory, and how do you think that memory or those memories shape ones that you're going to experience in the new Nissan Stadium?
I think everybody who loves the Titans and goes to Titans games has a particular memory, and a lot of ours is kind of the same. A lot of them are around the same game, but so I actually took my boys when they were 7 or 8. I have 4 kids, but my boys were the biggest fans. We went to the Vanderbilt Stadium games early and then started coming here. But I have the huge memory of my parents both going with me and my boys to the games. So my mom and dad would come to Titans games, and I would come along. I was single dad at the time, and I would bring my children with me. And we were at the Music City Miracle game. My mom, by the way, passed away in February, and that woman watched every single Titans game up until the Sunday before she died. She never missed one. But we were all together in the game, and my son looked at me. He was 9 at the time, I think, and said, "Dad, we lost the playoff." And I was like, and my mother looked and said, "This game is not over yet. We have not lost." And then, boom, the Music City Miracle happened. And I will never forget that the rest of my life, my family together having a moment that none of us will forget. And now my children are grown and have children of their own. I took that son and his son to a game this past year. That's the kind of legacy that this stadium will mean for my grandson and his sons and daughters. My daughters love the Titans as well, but that's what my memories of this are, is a family legacy.
Absolutely. People often ask me about favorite moments in sports, and recently I've been telling them it hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen in there, and I can't wait for that. Commissioner Goodell, what does a world-class facility like this mean for the NFL's future in Nashville?
What do you mean, Taylor? You knew that was good. Yeah. I can't believe you took that long to ask that question. Listen, I think so much of the vision that Amy and the Titans had here, listen, it's an important franchise and a wonderful franchise for the NFL, and I know that the work that they've done here from the moment you had the draft and what you did to change the trajectory of the draft. You actually took the draft and made it yours, but you did it in a way that made it incredibly impactful to the future of the NFL and the Titans. That this is a Super Bowl ready city. The one thing that's missing is the stage. And I think now you're building a great stage. We have a process, but I have every expectation that you're going to see that type of thing in the future.
I waited that long so I could get the chills. When the doors open in 2027, Burke and John, what do you hope people feel when they walk in for the very first time?
I hope there's a sense of awe and wow, the wow factor. Everyone loves the wow factor, but I hope everybody, feels a sense of pride in their own regard, even if they didn't physically contribute to the construction of the building. This community is special, it's very tight, and I hope everyone feels a sense of ownership and that own pride of being a resident here who can cheer on their team or enjoy other events with their family, their grandchildren, and beyond. So I think the way we're looking at it is we're going to do everything we can to make it the highest quality, the longest lasting experience, so that when hundreds of thousands of people, or whatever the math ends up being over time, get to utilize this facility, they're like, wow, this is really special, and I'm proud to be a Nashvilleian.
Yeah, I hope they feel the same thing that I feel every time I walk onto that site or get a new rendering coming across my desk, which is wonder. Wonder is something that's a little bit more powerful than even awe, because it takes you by surprise. It's so awesome, and that's how I feel. When I walk through that facility, there's just something really special about the way that it's laid out and the attention to detail. I think the next emotion that I would love for people to feel, and I think they will feel, is pride, because at some point, Titans fans in particular, but everybody in Tennessee who steps foot in this building, I think, will come to this realization when they're feeling that wonder, like, this is ours. This is our building. This isn't going anywhere. I get to come back here. And then I guess the last emotion that I would hope that they feel is thrill, because I believe that there's a lot of things about our organization where that building is a pretty good representation of it, and I believe that the greatest generation of our organization is yet to come and will be experiencing that building. And so after that first event, I expect that they're going to walk out thrilled by a Titans win, because this is a building that's built for Nashville, built for Tennessee, but it's built for Titans and built for Titans fans, and I believe that just some incredible things for this organization are going to happen in that building.
There's a lot of excitement today, and on behalf of the three people sitting in the front, the Adams family, and everyone that works for the Tennessee Titans, thanks to the four of you for your time today. We're going to let you guys head over to the site now. A round of applause for our esteemed panelists today. All right, as they get moved over there, we're going to head outside in just a moment, and this will be a very special moment for all of us to get to